how is it going? What I'm encouraging you to do is to speak of it now the way you would if it was what you wanted it to be. If it were as successful as you wanted it to be, as thrilling as you wanted it to be, if it was exceedingly abundantly above all that you asked or thought, how would you describe that? That's the way you talk about it now.
Sir, that was powerful. And I'm gonna keep this
sense?
on replay. Yes, it makes perfect sense. I didn't get to write it all down and grab everything that you took, but I let it be in my spirit. And I'm gonna definitely run this replay back and keep listening to it so I can really get into that and also create more affirmations that align with that so I can continue to have it fester into my spirit so it can come on out. I appreciate it, Coach.
Because you're only driving your car based on your desired end. All the stuff, all the streets in the middle are just a means to an end, but they're not really what you care about. You only care about arriving at the store or arriving at the school. So every move you make is with the end in mind. So you do that physically, we do it naturally. What we're doing here now is the same thing mentally. We're applying the mental skill of that. So every move we make is with the desired end in mind. So by living in the end, what it's going to allow you to do is your conscious mind, Giovanni lives in the end, that is already so. What your higher self is going to do now, what people call God, what your higher self is going to do now is now navigate you through all the things in the middle to get you to that end that you're focused on, because that is where it is going that way. And it is going as it's going because of where it's going. It's going to school, it's going to the store. So it's going to, like a navigation system, guide you to the end result that you're focused on, that your end result is based on. Everything else it will do for you. You just have to stay in the end of your mind that it's already so. And it's going to fill in all those gaps, all those blanks. It's going to bring all the people. It's going to bring in all the ideas you need, all the energy you need, all the focus you need, because that's what's necessary to get you to your desired end. All you have to do is stay there mentally in the assumption of it so, that you are so, that the podcast is so. And that is describing it that way constantly is what is constantly giving direction to your higher self, saying, this is where I still am. This is where it is. This is where I am. Come meet me here. And that's what's going to lead you to all those things that you're looking for in the so-called middle.
Yes, sir. Come meet me here.
There you go. Let's get it. There you go.
Giovanni, I want to be on your podcast.
I'm gonna put the link in the chat because I would love to have you on there too. Love to.
Yeah. So just let me know, however you want to do it, just let me know and we'll do it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you, Coach.
My pleasure. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. It's good to see everyone. Good morning to another Mindset Saturday. It's great to have everyone here. It's an honor and pleasure to see you all, have you all. Hopefully you had a wonderful week, and we're going to have a wonderful day today, and we're going to have an even better week next week. So we're going to get it started. Good to see everyone. All right. All right. Everyone, I'm sure can see that name on the board. We know, Lightweight, we know that he was the person who, they say invented the light bulb, not true, but that's not the point of this part. He's the person who owned the patent on a lot of these things. But this person is known for something else. Well, he is known for it, but most people don't know that. Can anybody guess something that this person is known for? It's a very famous thing. It's literally a very famous thing. But can anybody want to give a guess on what is Thomas Edison known for? It's not light bulbs and patents, even though he had both. But what is anybody want to take a wild guess on what he's known for that most people don't know?
Phonograph.
It's a guess, so you can't be wrong. But you can't sit here in silence either, because we don't move like that here.
Electricity.
Electricity, okay.
Record player.
Record player, okay. What else is Thomas Edison known for that most people don't know?
The concept that there can be light.
Okay, that was deep.
He's a
Very
subway.
for that.
He stole a lot of stuff from Nicholas Tesla.
Yes, from Nikola Tesla. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He promised him a lot of things that didn't come through on. Because he was what was Edison DC? Was he DC current or AC current? One of them was one, and the other one was the other.
Right.
Okay. Any other ones? Any other guesses? I don't expect you to know because I didn't either. All right. He is known for what we now call this thing.
Hollywood.
In the early 20th century, full-length films and filming in general was dominated in Europe. It was dominated by Europe. Paris, the city of Paris, specifically, in particular. They had a couple movie studios that were putting out more movies than all of America, all the studios combined. And Americans were putting out films, but they were more shorts, what we call today shorts. The Parisians were putting out more feature-length films. They were always a little bit ahead. So Thomas Edison had all the patents on camera, on the technology of camera, of all the camera technologies. He owned all the patents. So he was important because you couldn't play anything, couldn't film anything or play anything without all these cameras and projectors and things that he owned the patents to. So what he essentially did was he decided, and to be able to compete with the Europeans in filmmaking, he decided there were a bunch of little film studios, filmmakers and things like that. But because he owned all the patents and he was religiously litigious, he would sue you for anything and everything. If you even stepped 1 foot out of line, he'd sue you and stop you in your tracks from anything that he owned a patent on. So all the little filmmakers and film studios essentially had to abide by his rules or get sued. What he did ultimately was he monopolized it. He brought everybody all the studios into a group and said, look, we can all work together. Since I own all the patents anyway, let's just all come together and essentially make our stuff, and we will charge the movie theaters for the renting of a movie. They used to be able to buy movies. He turned it back into you had to rent them. So he was doing Blockbuster before Blockbuster. So he was making the movie theaters rent the movies. He was charging licensing fees, and he was doing all kinds of stuff. And so he turned all the little filmmakers and film studios into a conglomerate, into one thing called the Film Trust. Like a film, the Film Trust. He brought them all together and they had what they called the Film Trust. Well, after a while, as you can imagine, people just got tired of it. And he was doing this in the New York, New Jersey area. After a while, people got tired of it. So they couldn't, but everything they did, he was overseeing. So people couldn't get loans for certain things. He had everything under control, under his thumb. Loans for movie pictures and motion pictures and all those things. So what people did was they said, okay, how are we going to get away from this person? How are we going to get out from under this person's thumb? What they decided to do was break off and go clear across the country to California, to Los Angeles. And they did that for 2 reasons. One, there was a rail from the East Coast to the West Coast that they could take. And 2, in Southern California where they went, it was close to Mexico. So because he was so litigious, he would sue you. He would come and take the cameras from you. He was doing all kinds of stuff. So what they did was they got as far away from him as they could. They went to California. They went to Southern California, Los Angeles in particular, and they started doing things there. It was a lot harder for Thomas Edison to get a hold of them because he was so far away. And all the courts and everything like that didn't know him. All the politicians didn't really, they knew him, they knew of him, but they didn't know him. They didn't have relationships with him like that. So he couldn't just call somebody and start, he couldn't call a politician or call a court and just get things shut down immediately before he even sued them. He said, I'm gonna sue, and they would shut down just on call, whatever it may be. So they went to California, Southern California. And so they did that because there was a rail that went from the East Coast to LA, and also because Mexico was right under Southern California. And when he would try to come and do things, they would just stash their cameras in Mexico. So he couldn't get to them. And they would just leave him there until he left. So that was two reasons they went to Los Angeles. They went to Hollywood because Hollywood's sitting on the north side of Los Angeles City, on the top side, was a little cheaper than LA City proper. LA City proper was very expensive because they were still growing a lot of things. There was a lot of farmland there. They were still growing a lot of things there. Orchards and things like that were there. And so that land was kind of expensive. So they decided to go up into the hills a little bit on the northern part of the city into Hollywood, where it was a little cheaper. And that's why they started Hollywood there. So the four movie places came out of that. That was 20th Century Fox, Warner Brothers, Paramount, and there's one more. Paramount, Warner Brothers, 20th Century Fox, and there's one more, it'll come to me. And there's one more. Which one was that? Which one was that? I don't know if I wrote that down, but that's essentially what it was. Yeah, there's one more. But anyway, that's what it was. There's one more, plus one. So Hollywood, as we know it, started as a result of the rebellion against Thomas Edison monopolizing the whole motion picture industry. And as a result of coming over here, all these movie companies were able to grow as what we are now and be able to make full-length motion picture films individually. They still work together some individually and collectively, but that's how this essentially started. So he was the father of American Hollywood, American film, right? Universal. That's what it was. Universal. Yep, and Universal. That's what it was. So just
Sparkle put it in the
yes,
chat. I just
yes,
saw it. Yeah.
Universal. That's what it is. So just something interesting to know. Thomas Edison was the father of motion pictures in America. He was the
He didn't steal that one.
he was, well, he just
punked it.
he basically, like he did everything else, he let other people create it, then he took it.
He conquered it.
And he essentially created the patent office for what it's worth. He essentially created that. All right. All right, here we go. So title of the class, which I'm sure most of you saw on the email, Carpe Diem. I'm sure most of you on the email, the ones who got it, saw it, knows what that means. Does anybody not know what that means? Carpe Diem? Does anybody not know? Okay, wonderful. Seize the day. Seize the day. You understand? Seize the day. Seize the day. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. What is today?
Saturday.
What is today?
The day that you have made.
Okay. To do what?
To fulfill your purpose.
Okay. Okay. And what else?
To create it.
Okay. Okay. So this is the day that who has made?
My mom.
Say it again.
And my mom.
This is the day the Lord has made.
Okay. So
And I made.
the Lord, God, I am, you, me, first person, to do what?
To be glad in it.
To rejoice and be glad in. Okay. We talked about this maybe 2 weeks ago. Again, what is today?
Opportunity.
We talked about Tuesday. When we said Tuesday, what is today?
Enough.
Enough. It's enough. It is enough. Why is it enough? It's the only day you're going to get. There's no Amazon or Costco pack of days. You only get one at a time. It has to be enough. You're not getting another one. You're not getting an extra one. No one does. You can't buy it. You can't steal it. You can't extend it or shorten it. It is all you're going to get. It is enough. It's more than enough to do or be or have anything you want. It is enough. Seize it. Seize it. Make the most of it. Use all of it. All of it. This is the day to do that. There is no more yesterday. There is not tomorrow. There's only today. There's only today. Seize it. Take hold of it. Value it. Today. Today is made up of what? What is today made up of?
Minutes. Minutes.
What are minutes made up of?
Seconds.
Why do we always skip the seconds? Why does everybody live like seconds don't matter? If I don't care how many times I ask this, nobody ever says seconds. Everybody thinks seconds don't matter, almost like pennies.
We only identify seconds in the negative.
And that's only out of ignorance. Because you can have a penny without a dollar, but you can't have a dollar without a penny. You can have a second and it not be a minute yet. You can't have a minute without a second. So how do we skip the thing where it all starts? How many seconds do we let go by waiting for a better minute? How many minutes do we let go by waiting for a better hour? How many days do we go by waiting for a better week? Or weeks go by waiting for a better month, or months go by waiting for a better year, or years going by, this is my day. Tomorrow's gonna be my day. Next decade's gonna be my decade. We're waiting for the next thing while watching the current thing go by. We just watch it go by like it means nothing. But the thing we're watching going by is the ingredient for the thing we're looking forward to next. The minute we're looking forward to next is going to be a direct reflection of the seconds before. So what you've done with those seconds are going to equal what you're going to see in that minute that you're looking forward to, or that hour. The subsequent thing is comprised of the prior thing, of the thing before it. Yet we skip the thing before it like it means nothing. It's the simplest of things. When we get better at anything, what does it get? When you get better at something, what does it become?
Easier.
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 What is wrong with simple? When did simple get lost? When did simple become a connotatively bad thing? Because no matter what you call complex, someone else calls that same thing simple. They just have a better understanding of it than you. Every second counts. Every second counts. That is what's making your minutes. That's what's making your hours. That's what's making your day. That's what's making your days. That's what's making your weeks, your months. Everything that you think is big always starts with something little. The big tree out at the park or in the front of your house started with a seed that nobody would have any respect for in their hand. They'd be looking like, man, what am I going to do with this? 20 years, 50 years, however many years later, it's somebody else's shade.
Right.
The seed becomes shade. Write that one down.
Ooh,
Catch it.
T-shirt.
Catch it. Catch the magic. I'm firing hot early. Early. I stretched before I got on. Right. The seed becomes shade. The little things that you're letting go by every day, all the little seeds that you look at and don't have any respect for, are why you don't have any shade. Why we don't have any shade. We don't have anything to protect us from the blows of life. Nobody's looking at an umbrella that has any respect for an umbrella in ours. Let October come, November come. Now everybody's going to Target, Walmart, and everything else, trying to get that umbrella. That was $6 in July and $58 in November. We're waiting too long. We're letting too many things go by. We're not paying attention to all the things that make up the thing. All the things that make up the thing. Every meal has ingredients. And the outcome of that meal is based on, do you have the ingredients? Do you know how to use them in the right order and the right balance? That's what the outcome is going to be based on. All the little things that you put together forms the end. All the seconds that you put together forms your minute, forms your hour, forms your day, forms your days, your week, your weeks, your month, your months, your year, your years. And we're letting them go by. But you can't have a dollar without a penny. You can't have a minute without a second. You just can't do it. And the better you get, you learn to drill down and you realize that every day isn't your opportunity. Every second is your opportunity. Every second is your opportunity. When you're not feeling well, don't you realize how many seconds there are in a minute then? When you're in enough pain, every second matters. When you're in traffic for too long, every second matters. When your feet are hurting and you still have 10 more steps, doesn't every step matter? A lot of times we don't see or understand, or we're not aware of the little things that are huge things in different circumstances. But the awareness, the acknowledgement, the respect, and the proper use of all those little things will keep you out of those big disasters. A lot of those big missteps is because of not paying attention along the way. Not paying attention along the way to all the so-called little things. The little things are the biggest things. There is no big thing without a little thing. But there are little things without big things. It matters. It matters. You are so-called a little thing, meaning one person amongst 8 billion people. But you matter. Martin Luther King mattered. Hitler mattered. Gandhi mattered. Malcolm X mattered. Meaning you can be famous or infamous. You can be good or bad, so to speak. But individuals, as an individual, you matter. You matter. But it's hard for you to matter if the second doesn't matter. It's hard for you to be big if you don't understand and respect the little things. Realizing how much that is what led up to the bigness of the thing or of you. Every second, every habit, your thoughts, your words, your actions, what you're spending time on, whom you're spending time with, talking about, watching, listening to, whatever else it is. In order to make an impression, you first have to be impressive. In order to be impressive, you first have to be self-impressed. In order to make an impression, to leave your mark, you have to be able to make a mark. In order to make a mark, you have to realize you are the marker. The end always starts with you. It always starts with you. You cannot be impressive without first being self-impressed, without being impressed with yourself. You cannot be valued if you don't see yourself as valuable. You won't behave in a way that will make people look at you and say, wow, he or she is valuable. You are valuable. When they talk about you, you are valuable. I work with kids all the time. And it is amazing to me how much energy and emotion a person can have with no identity. It is amazing to see so many kids walking to school dressed like they have no concept or respect for where they're going and what it is they're going for. It is amazing how you can see someone walk so slow to a place that can give them the information to create the life that we're all on here talking about. See, no one respects school until they have to get a job. Because now you realize that your information is all you have. And whatever you have, and as much of it as you have, that is what you are selling to this employer in order to get hired. And it is amazing to me to watch so many kids go into a place where you have the opportunity to learn, and they walk like they're going to some kind of death camp. Or like it's some kind of concentration camp. Or like it's like they're going to be executed. Or like it's some kind of, but you go to Disneyland, they're sprinting out the car. You go to the park, they're sprinting out the car. Go to the mall to buy them something, you're sprinting out the car. And it's amazing how, if I ask a kid, why are you wearing that? Do you know where you're going? Why are you wearing that? I don't know. Everybody's wearing it. It's not a big deal. But they never actually have a response. They have a reaction, but very little response. They don't have anything that shows they thought about, they put any thought into what they're wearing and where they're going and what they're going to do when they get there. So you're going to do PE and Crocs. That's what you're telling me?
No.
That's what you're telling me. You're going to run the mile. What do you have to, oh, I got PE. Oh, what do you have to do today? We have to run the mile. And you have some Crocs on. Do you have any other shoes with you? No. Wait, what? So you're going to run the mile in those Crocs.
Marcus put, yes, that's what they're telling you. And then Sparker Bailey said it's part of my swag.
Yes. Yes. And then when your feet hurt, back hurt, knees hurt.
Sports mode, JoJo said.
Right, yeah. Put them on the front. Yeah, but saying that to say, it's amazing how you try to be cool with such a lack of awareness. How do you do both? That's like trying to be fast when you're asleep. How do you do both? But we essentially do the same things. We're here because we literally realize that, man, if we don't get our thought life together, we've already done this body thing.
Right.
We've already done the body thing. We've already lifted weights. We've already run miles. We've already been on diets. We've already had 3 jobs. We've already had enough medications. We've already done the body thing. And we're all here because we realize that as hard as we've tried and as good as we may be and as much as we may have put into it, it's not enough in and of itself. Something's missing. What is that? How is that? How can I get that? That's why we're here. There was, when I say every second, there was a lady who moved to another country. She left America and moved to another country. She went to this other country and just one bad thing after another happened. Just a calamity of errors and missteps, and some of it was just a lack of preparation, not really just wanting to leave so quick, not really thinking about where you're going, how that's going to work, and all these other things. Calamity of errors ensued, and so she decided to move back to America. About 6 weeks later, she decided she was going back to the place she just left. Sounds crazy. But you know what was really the craziest thing about it? The reason she left was because all she thought about is what was going wrong. The reason she decided to go back was because all she thought about or remembered was how many things went well. Her whole behavior was based on her focus. It wasn't even on her experiences necessarily. It was on what she focused on, which experiences she focused on. There's 1,000 things happening to us in a day, in a month, in a week, in a year. And our, what we call good or bad, or our experience, is based on what we're focusing on. And what we focus on expands to the point that it shoves out or blinds us to all the other things that are also happening. So she ran out of a place and literally ran right back to it. Because when she was running out, all she thought about was how bad this is and how many things were going wrong. When she got back to America, she said, oh, wow, now I know why I left. And then started remembering all the good things that happened where she was, where she left, and then decided to go back. What is it you're focusing on? Where is your focus? What are you putting your attention on, your focus on? Where are you putting your attention and your focus? That is all you are seeing and all you're going to see, and it is going to expand. Every second matters, not in fear, in wisdom. Every second matters. It counts. It's what makes up your minutes and all the different things. They all build up from the bottom up, not from the top down. Every second matters. If you love your life and yourself, respect your seconds. Respect your seconds. Every one of them is an opportunity. Your day isn't an opportunity. You don't have a day without a second. Your day is wrapped up into those seconds. Your focus. Anybody have anything they want to say or ask before I get into the next part of it?
You be preaching that preaching, Coach.
Yes. Which is it? Okay. All right.
I'll put up with a lot of things, but I do not put up with people wasting my time.
Because when they're wasting your time, what are they essentially wasting?
Seconds.
Say it again.
Your life.
Seconds.
Your life.
Yeah.
Your life. Your life. When people so-called die, they're out of time. And if it's between life and death, don't you value those seconds? You value them then. Nobody values pennies until it's $2.47. $2.47. Nobody values seconds until you realize, wait, how many more seconds do I have before I have to turn this test in? 10, 9, 8. Buzzer beaters, Hail Marys. All competitions that are time-based are, shoot, they're going down to the seconds. Milliseconds to the smallest 10th fraction of a second. Photo finishes.
Right.
They're all, that's it. It's time. It's time. Time is where your life is. It's what your life is made up of. You can't get away from it, can't get around it, can't go without it. Time. And time is not minutes and hours and days, it's seconds. Time is seconds. Get that into your mind. Time is seconds. It's not minutes. You don't get to skip seconds. You don't get to skip that. Time is seconds. If you can win every second, you can win every minute. If you can win every minute, you can win every hour. It goes up the other way. If you're losing 50 seconds and you only have 10 seconds left, what do you think you're going to do in that 10 seconds that's going to overwhelm or outweigh the 50? It just doesn't work like that. Respect your seconds. Every second counts. Every second matters. That is your life. What you do with it is on you. But just because you don't do anything wise or intelligent or aware with it doesn't mean there's a redo, a do-over. There's not any rewards cards where you get some kind of rebate and get some of them back. Doesn't work like that. Every second matters. If you love yourself and your life, respect your seconds. Respect your seconds. That's where your life is. That's where it starts. If you can do that, you can win a minute, you can win an hour, you can win a day, you can win a week, you can win a month, you can win a year, you can win a decade, you can win a lifetime based on your seconds.
There's a couple things in the chat.
Yes.
Oops, where did the chat go? Hold on, so Giovanni did share her links for her podcast for those who are interested. Check out the chat, don't forget. So Marcus put thought, thinking, action, and then outcome, focused thoughts. Adults can't get it together, and they are teaching the kids at our, maybe he missed that word, all hands, professors, teachers meetings, the administration, faculty were arguing about students wearing hoodies. Most people in power don't respect others' times until you act like your time is worth it. See, I knew I should have walked out of the meeting. They wasted my time. I don't know what that is, but then Leslie said all preparation comes down to the last second. And then Sparkle Baby, you have a question? You said question?
My apologies, y'all. Yes, Coach Lucky, can you break down further the concept of the lady who traveled out of the country to move and then she traveled back? Can you go a little deeper into the whole like mindset part of that? Because what she was focused on made her feel like she needed to leave the States. And then what she was focused on when she left the States made her feel like she needed to come back. And then she decided that she focused on the positive of her experience and decided to go back out of the States. To people like myself, we will blame ourselves for being so fickle rather than focusing on like, where should your mind, like, how do you, is it even healthy or wise to have those back and forth experiences just for the sake of gaining wisdom? Or is it like you can be stable the first time you move and just like you just need to focus on this, that, and the third? Can you just kind of go a little further into that if that question makes sense?
Mm-hmm. There's a saying, I don't know who said it, but there's a saying, something to the effect of the very road you take to avoid something is the very road that leads you right to it. So when we were, when you're younger in high school and you owe somebody $1 or $2 and you see him, but they don't see you, and you see him and you're like, oh shoot. And you pat your pocket, oh, I got it. You know what, let me just go this way today. I'm gonna get him tomorrow. But I don't have it today, and I don't want to tell him, and I don't want to see him. So I'm gonna duck behind the building, go around, and you like, oh yeah, I'll get him tomorrow. And you're walking around, and you turn the corner, you're like, oh hey, hey, what's up, hey, right? The very road you took to avoid something is the very road that leads you right to it.
Right.
A lot of times people are in the midst of running from one thing, they run right into something else. They're not dealing with what's happening where they are. So they're trying to run away from it, but they don't, just like that person who took that road, you don't realize, you don't know where that person is. You just know you duck behind the building, but you don't know where they're going. You hope you do, you assume you do. But if you knew, you wouldn't have went that way because you would have realized that they were going to go to their locker before class. Meaning, the things that we're running from, a lot of times we end up running right into that exact thing. So we're running, laughing like a cartoon, laughing at the thing in the back and run right into the wall. A lot of times we're running from something and not dealing with what is, where it is, and don't realize that as a result of that, we're running right into its equivalent just without even being prepared. We just run right into them. Like running into a closed glass door that's so clean you don't realize it's closed and you run right into it. This particular lady in the story that I read, she essentially wanted to leave the States just because life was just going a certain way. No problem. Her issue was that she didn't really think about where she was going. She just decided she wanted to go somewhere and decided just to go. So when she got to where she wasn't prepared. She didn't know what she was going to do to make money. She didn't know where she was going to live exactly. She thought she'd figure it out when she got there and all the other things. So as a result of not really respecting her time and her seconds, not being prepared, not being aware, she just acted. And then she got to a place and it was just overwhelming and out of control and all that stuff. But there were a lot of good things. She met a lot of nice people. She got to have, she said she really enjoyed the coffee where she went. There was a lot of good things that happened, but there were so many things that were happening at the same time that what hurt her most is what got her attention the most. So she wasn't even paying attention to all the good things that actually were happening. So she didn't have a proper balanced perspective. In life, there are good days and bad days, so to speak. There are days that are we're just happy and it's seemingly for no reason. Then there's some days where we just wake up and we're just unhappy and it's seemingly for no reason. Some days just you caught all the green lights, you got your favorite food, somebody bought it for you, your brand new shoes came in from Amazon, so to speak. Everything is just flowing. Some days it's raining and there's traffic, got out the car and stepped in a puddle. There's just things that happen.
Right.
And what happens is that it's the balance of life. It's not saying that because something good is happening, something bad has to happen. It's just saying that there's always things happening. And what happens to us is not as important as how we perceive it. And so a lot of times, Sparkle, to your question, a lot of things that are happening are a result of focus and perception. Perspective. What do I think is happening here? How do I feel about what is happening here? And a lot of times we're caught off guard, we're unprepared, our mental diet isn't strong enough. The collection of thoughts we have and the way we think and the way we're used to thinking is not strong enough to deal with this everyday occurrence, stepping in the puddle of traffic, even though you really want to get somewhere, of just the daily occurrences of life and in life. And so then what happens is we tend to focus on that. I was talking to a couple people this week using this similar analogy where I said, in business, a successful business has, let's just say you opened a 7-Eleven and you had 10 people come in. All 10 of those people represent customers. 5 of them come in and buy some chips. The other 5 come in and steal some chips. Which one do you think people remember the most? Which group? People remember what was taken from them. They're going to remember the 5 people that stole, not the 5 people that purchased. Their day is going to be consumed with the 5 people that stole. Their day is not going to be consumed with the 5 people who bought. So a lot of times, even though something was bought, 5 people did buy. So where we place our focus and what we emphasize is largely how we feel, and it's largely what we remember the most and what we act upon. So this lady was only focusing in one direction. She was only focusing on one set of things. And she didn't realize it until she got back to where she was and started being able to appreciate the other things that now didn't even exist, the good things that didn't exist where she was. She realized when she drank the coffee, it wasn't as good back in America to her. She realized that this wasn't as good, and this wasn't as good, and this wasn't as good. So now she's saying, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna go back to where I was. So saying all that to say, to answer your question, essentially is this. We have to have a balanced understanding and perception and perspective in life. Everything isn't always going hunky-dory. There's traffic, there's lights that go out, there's storms, literal and figurative. There are 1,000 different things that go on. Our ability to deal with what goes on, our ability to keep our peace and our poise comes from practice and repetition. Like being an athlete in a combat sport, whether it's martial arts or whether it's boxing or whether it's anything where you learn how to train your eyes to something that at first you see dangerous. After a while, you don't see it the same way because you learn how to condition your eyes and your mind and your body to be able to respond a certain way. But that takes time and repetition. And life, when things happen where they say life is 10% of what happens to us and 90% how we react to it, something of that nature. It's a lot of it is just how we respond and react to the things that go on a day-to-day basis. And a lot of times our internal supply, our skill set isn't quite up to par because we haven't developed it enough. We haven't spent enough time learning how to think, what we want to think, where to place our attention, where to deal with something, but not give it our life. There's a difference where there can be a moment, but don't make it an identity. You slip and fall, don't call yourself clumsy. We make too many moments identities. We start to, like Leslie said earlier, we start to take ownership of some things that we just shouldn't be doing. You slipped and fell. You made a mistake. That doesn't make you clumsy. That doesn't mean don't take ownership. A lot of times we take ownership of things, especially what we would call negative things, the things we don't want. We own them quick. But the things we do want, we need 100 affirmations for. We need prayers and candles and everything else. The things we don't want, we immediately possess. We immediately will call ourselves stupid or clumsy or all the other things. And it doesn't take any affirmations for that. We believe it immediately. The things that we want in life to do, to be or have, boy, we make a big episode out of it. It's just conditioning. So it's to condition our mind to say, okay, I see this thing, let me deal with it, but let me keep my focus and my attention on what is going well, because I want to see more of that. So it's just developing the skill of where to place your attention, where to place your focus, and based on where you place your attention, your focus, that is what is moving you. That is what your emotion is. It's energy in motion. That's where things are going for you. And in order to make sure you steer it correctly, you have to be thinking correctly to say, okay, this is happening. Let me deal with it, but let me keep my attention and my focus on what I do want to see more of, what I do want to take ownership in, what I do want to be a part of me in my life, and things of that nature. Does that make sense? All right, hopefully it does.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Yes?
Thank you.
Okay. Did that make sense? Did you get it? I want to make sure.
Most definitely. I realized in being accountable, there's a scenario in my life that kind of applied to the example. And so I've noticed over the years, the back and forth, whether it's this scenario, a different scenario, when I run, I still face the scenario. And so that's why I was trying to understand the logic behind where am I thinking? Where in my thinking am I giving myself permission to run into this scenario again and again and again? And so, like you said, when we don't count the seconds, when we don't focus on the message or the lesson, or we just want to be comfortable as possible because of whatever reason, people have their reasons why they want to be comfortable. Without oversharing, I feel justified in my reasons for wanting to be comfortable, but I also appreciate support during those times where it's best to be uncomfortable. So the information you're sharing is just is resonating very deeply because we all want to be successful at learning lessons and getting through the lessons and evolving. And so I wanted to understand where was her head when she was moving back and forth, and what would have been a better logic for her to get the lesson. And then you said it, planning. She didn't plan. She just did what she did. And so I'm just listening and I'm resonating, and I really appreciate your explanation. Thank you.
Yes, wonderful. And it's our unwillingness to change. She didn't want to change. So she ran from one thing to another thing. Then she ran from that thing back to something else. Then she wanted to run back to the thing that she just ran out of. It's all those things are just neutral things, but how she handles them is why they are what they are. And until we change, things don't change. A lot of times we want everyone and everything else outside of us to change, but everything and everyone outside of us, in a sense, is a reflection of us, whether it's what's happening or how we respond to it. What you do, what someone does is a reflection of them. What you do is a reflection of you. What they say is a reflection of them. Your response is a reflection of you. So it's always a reflection of us, whether we are proactive or whether we are reacting, so to speak, whether we did it or whether we're responding to what was done. They are reflections of us. So a lot of times people want things outside to change. They want to go to a new place or a new thing or have a new this or a new that, but they're still the same them. So all they're going to do is run into a different looking version of the same thing. Person may look different, but the thing's going to be the same. The job may look different, but the outcome's going to be the same. The car may look different, but it's going to break down just like the last one, because cars, I never do good with cars, or all my cars always break down, in the sense of our consciousness is always showing us what we're thinking. It's always out picturing. And until we change, there's no one to change but self. Until we change who we are, a collection of thoughts and beliefs and assumptions, all we're doing is getting the out picturing of those thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. So while we may change the this or change the that, it's not going to change the outcome, because the outcome is always based on us, not it, not the thing itself. And since she was unwilling to do that, she's running from place to place to place, trying to find some relief. But everywhere you go, there you are. You can have a headache on your couch, a headache in your kitchen, a headache in your car. Everywhere you go, there you are. Changing the location, not going to necessarily help that. You have to get rid of your own thing. You have to change your mind about what something is or can be. And a lot of times we're unwilling to do that. We're just unwilling to do it for whatever reason. A lot of times people call that, wanting to stay the same, wanting to be comfortable, so to speak.
That's what Kari put in the chat about 10 minutes ago. No matter where you are, there you are.
Yes, it's true. It's true. So this is a nice segue into the next thing. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
We've just been talking, this is literally what we've been talking about for the last probably 5 or 10 minutes. What is it you're watching? Prayer is changing the channel. It's a lot of things. I'm just using different analogies, things like, it's like changing the channel. If you are watching something that you don't like, what do we naturally do? We change the channel.
Right.
To what we do like. And the longer we keep the channel on what we do like, the more joy and satisfaction we feel. When we're talking about learning how to think in order to live well, it's essentially, we're saying, in order to have a good time, watch the right channel. Turn it to the right channel. I said a couple weeks ago, I don't know if everyone remembers when I was saying something, I said, yes, it's good to be grateful, but we're not here on this planet to be grateful. We can be grateful as a result of some things, and we can decide to be grateful, but we didn't come here to be grateful.
Inspired.
That's not what we came here for. It is something we can be, but it's not what we came here for. And here's what I mean by that. If you have the remote and you're looking at a channel and you don't like what you're watching, does anybody sit there on the couch and just say, you know what? I'm just so grateful. Does anybody say to themselves how grateful they are to be watching something they don't want to see? Does anybody express gratitude about the worst show they've ever seen?
No.
Does anyone do that? When people are talking about expressing gratitude, it is important, because a lot of times, like we talked about earlier, the seconds, people aren't even respecting their own seconds. They don't, just like the lady, your focus is off. So you're not even grateful for what you do have. That's true. That's true. But on the other side, people are using gratitude for everything now. And it's cool and it's good. It's better than not. However, sometimes it's better to turn the channel. I don't want to sit here watching this thing talk about how grateful I am. Well, just who's ever turned the channel and watched something and say, well, just be happy for what you got. There's starving people, starving children in Africa. Well, somebody else, man, what show is this? This is terrible. Well, somebody else always has it work. We don't do that on a TV show, but we're doing that with our life. We're trying to find a way to be happy with something that we don't want. And there's no honor in that. There's no glory in that. And there's no victory in that. That's not it. In that book, that character said it was dark everywhere. And that character said, let there be light. It didn't say to itself, well, at least I got something. There was no starving children in Africa then. There was no, well, somebody else is darker somewhere else. No, it didn't. We just make up stuff that we don't have to make up. It said, let there be light. When you turn the channel, you're turning your focus onto something else that gives you more pleasure, that you enjoy more. Where's your attention? What is your attention on? Prayer is like turning the channel. It's just simply saying, I want to see something else. When you turn your attention, that's like praying, you're changing something. That's all people pray for, is to change something. Does anybody say, God, let me stay the same? If nothing's going wrong, and if you like what you have, is anybody praying anyway? Come on, tell the truth. Nobody, come on, nobody's doing that until something's not right. Or until they want to change something or whatever else it is. They may be gratitude, but we're talking about just, no, praying, we're trying to change something. When you have that remote in your hand, praying is like just turning the channel. It's saying, I don't want to look at this, I want to look at something else. And the longer you keep that show on that you enjoy, the more of that show you're going to experience. The more fun or the more happiness or the more enjoyment you're going to experience because you keep consuming it. You keep consuming it. Turn it to a channel you want to see. Turn your attention to an idea or a thought that you want to consume and experience. Don't keep it on what you don't want. Don't keep it on what you don't like, what you don't have. The show is not going to change. As long as on that channel, you're going to keep seeing all these same people, all these same actors, all these same things. You don't try to change the show. You turn the channel. Turn the channel. What do you want to see? Turn the channel. There's no honor and gratitude on a channel that you don't want to watch. That's not where gratitude applies. It's not designed to help you feel better about being miserable, about being unhappy, unsatisfied, and unfulfilled. It's not what it's for. Turn the channel. Put your focus on something that does bring you satisfaction, gratification, fulfillment, and joy. What can you think about? What can you watch? What can you hear? Turn the channel. What are we focused on? What are we watching? What are we hearing? What are we listening to? Turn the channel to something that thrills you, that moves you, the thought of, the experience of, the interaction with. That you're so involved with, people when they talk to you can't even get your attention right away. Those are the type of thoughts to be thinking. Things that turn you on, that make your focus like that. That is a skill to choose what you want. That's why we don't give a baby a remote. They don't know what they're doing. They're going to turn the power on, off, cable's going to be on and off, everything's just going to be clicking on the TV. It's a skill to identify the channels and turn it to where you want. It's a skill to change your mind and turn it to what you want. It's a skill. It requires awareness, repetition, understanding, knowledge, all the things we talked about. I believe it was last week. You have to know what you're doing with this instrument. Your consciousness is always playing something according to your identity. So whatever it is that you're watching is because of what's coming out of the projector onto the screen of your life. And if you don't like what's coming on the screen, turn the channel. But guess what happens? When you're going through the guide, right? And you're looking for a channel to turn. All those channels on there, what do those channels reflect? Let's see who's firing sharp this morning. Let's see it. What do those channels, when you're going through the guide, what do those channels reflect?
I know for me, it's gonna reflect how I view myself.
The channel, yeah, but the channel's on the TV. When you're going through that guide, seeing what you want to watch, what do those channels reflect? What do they represent?
What somebody else wants you to see.
Right.
Okay, that's true.
I was
And
gonna say, oh, go ahead.
Just what they want you to know, what someone, another authority, a figure in authority wants you to know.
Okay, that both of what you guys said is true. That's true.
I was going to say, like each channel represents a version of your reality that you can pick.
Very close.
Then it would be what I can pay my attention to.
That's true too. Anyone else?
Opportunities.
The options that are available.
Creation is finished.
Mm.
Ooh.
You don't get to change anything. When you turn that remote, what is your only option? When you turn the channel, what are your only options? What's your option?
Whatever is there, those are your options.
Okay, and then what is your option?
On
To
or off.
turn it on or turn it off.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Creation is finished. You only get to choose. Everything is already available. Everything is already on that TV screen. It's already in that guide. What you see is what you get. You see it? What you see is what you get. See it? You don't get to change it. Like you said earlier, you don't get to change it. You don't get to choose it, meaning you don't get to choose what they put on there. All you do is get to choose if you participate or not. If you give it life by pushing the button or not. The states of consciousness are already there. Just like the programs on the TV are already there. You don't get to change them, fix them, remodel them. You don't have a say in that, in your physical world, in this physical body. We don't have that say. We already created the programs before we got here. The states of mind are already there. They're already there. All you get to choose is whether you participate and click on that state of depression or of anxiety or of stress, of worry, of fear, of prosperity, of joy, of peace, of abundance. They're all channels. And you don't get to fix them. You don't get to rearrange them. You be like, you know what? I'm going to pick anxiety, but do they have like a diet anxiety? Like anxiety light, right? You know, where it's a little less calories, less dramatic. Do I get a little less stress? Can I get like 20% less stress with that package? I got a coupon.
Not exactly.
You don't get to do it.
Not exactly.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got to bring it where it is out here, you know? We got to bring it where it is. We got to get it down to the grassroots, to the streets.
Like with a Y.
That's it. Like MC. That's it. Yeah, I know you guys caught that one. You old schoolers, oh, you caught that one. Just like the MC. You don't get to choose. The states of mind already exist. They already exist. Just like children, physically, we have to mature mentally to learn how to work our remote, which is our consciousness. Where are we turning it? What are we picking it to focus on? What channel? What thing are we focusing our attention on? What are we watching, listening to, hearing? All the people in your world, guess what those are? The actors and the actresses of the channel you're watching, of the state of mind you have picked. And guess what? Just like if we give a baby a remote, they can pick the channels. They don't have to be right. But the remote doesn't care. You pushed the button, didn't you? There's no way the channel could be on this channel if you didn't push that button. Because if it did, it's some kind of exorcism. Something's happening. And it's time to go. The TV just popping on now, time to go. If it's just changing its own channels, it's time to go. If something's happening, it's time to go. We're going to talk about it outside or down the street, but not right now and not right here. It's time to go. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter if you meant it or not. A baby doesn't mean it either, but that's why you won't give it the remote. Because you know, it doesn't matter whether you mean it or not. You click the button, clickety clack, that's that. Guys, catch that? That was a little rhyme. That was it. Just a little something for Saturday. Instead of cartoons, we on here rhyming. Nursery rhyme. Clickety clack, that's that. That's it. That's it. So it doesn't matter whether you meant to pick it or not. Doesn't matter what you think about anxiety or not. Doesn't matter. Depression or not. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter. Do you think the people who program that on the TV care what you think? Either watch it or you don't. They don't care what you think because somebody else is going to watch it. Otherwise, it would have never got funded. It wouldn't be on the TV. It wouldn't be on the TV. Somebody's going to pick it. So the mature mind, the young person growing up into older, and now they know how to work the remote logically and properly, then you'll let them have it. Your consciousness is your remote. You are choosing what it is you're paying attention to. And prayer is just you deciding what you're changing. I don't want to watch this anymore. That's all it is. I don't want to watch this anymore. I want to watch this. You always have a remote. You always have the ability to change your mind. That ability, unlike your remote, does not need batteries and never runs out of power. You have the ability to change your mind to watch anything. All those channels are already programmed. All these states of mind are already programmed. That's what all those characters in that book, in the wisdom book called the Bible, all those characters represent channels. They represent different states of mind. That's all they represent. That's all they represent. That's why their names mean something. That's why they have the stories they have. So when you have a title of a movie, then all the characters represent and reflect that title. The location of where the movie's taking place represent and reflect that title. All the actions and behaviors represent and reflect that title. What each character in that book and all the things around it and with that associated with them reflect that state, that title. That title is their name. That name reflects a state of mind. And it's showing that all of us go through all those states at the end, from beginning to end. They're all states of mind. And every state, every channel, every show has things on there that's programmed. You don't get to choose it. You don't get to change it. You only get to decide whether you want to watch it. You're not the writer, director, or anything else. You're only the chooser. Here, we are the chooser. We already wrote and directed before we got here. We made everything available before we got here. Now we're here, and now in our conscious human mind, we have to pick what channel we want to watch. Do we want to watch horror, drama, comedy, sci-fi, thriller, whatever else it is? Who are your favorite actors? Who are your favorite actresses? Why? What makes them special to you? What makes them catch your attention? Those are just like the people in your life. Your life is your movie. It's your play. It's your theater. And it's being governed by your consciousness, by the film. And it's projecting onto the screen of your life. Every second that matters. It matters. Not in fear, in wisdom. It matters. What you're playing, what you're watching, what channel it's on. It matters. You can fall asleep to one thing and wake up and be like, good Lord, what is this? Anybody ever fell asleep with Law and Order on? And it's 3 a.m. and you're doom. You're like, what is going on? What is happening? Yeah, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, it may be all right. At 3 a.m, you're like, oh no, I can't take this. No, not right now. No, it's a little too deep. They're a little too deep at 3 a.m. Same thing, right? We're always on, and we have to figure out what channel is on. What are we watching? What are we consuming? What's coming through our eye gates, our ear gates, what's coming out of our mouth, what is dripping down from the top all the way into the bottom. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Whatever you continuously, repeatedly, consistently put through your eyes, in your ears, will eventually come out of your mouth. It will eventually come out of your mouth. It goes in your eyes, through your ears, down to your heart, back from your heart, back up through your mouth. And that's when you know it's in there.
And I'll put in the chat, yes, we have to protect our gaze. We are what we consume.
Correct.
Mhm.
Correct. How many people walking around wearing sunglasses, protecting their eyes from the sun, but not protecting their eyes from what's on TV? How many people are protecting their ears in the winter with earmuffs and not protecting their ears from the radio or what they're listening to? Not in fear, but in wisdom, figuring out what is it I'm consuming here? Just to make a conscious choice. You don't have to run from everything or run from anything, but to make a conscious choice of what it is you want to consume at any moment of time. Music, no music. What type of music? How long? Just making conscious choices. You have to make choices consciously. You're conscious whether you're making good choices or not. Conscious choices just means realizing you are conscious. So if I'm doing this anyway, let me do the right thing. Let me do the thing that aligns with what I want my desired outcome to be. All right. So what channel are you watching? What are you watching? What are you watching? What is going on in your consciousness? What are you watching? Turn the channel if you don't like it. Turn it to something you want to see. Start thinking what you want to think. Choose what's good for you. If you choose what you listen to, well, you're also listening to yourself when you're talking. Choose what you listen to. In order to do that, choose what you say. All the things that are happening on the outside are happening first on the inside. And what you say to yourself and about yourself is your salvation or your damnation. It's not what other people say to you and about you, it's what you say to you and about you. Because as Gary said earlier, essentially everywhere you go, there you are. You can't hide from you, can't run from you. So what you say about you, what you think about you, so goes your life. Not what other people say, not what other people think, unless you decide to believe what they say. But you're giving your power away to them to say it instead of you using your power to say it to yourself. But that's how powerful you are. You can say it or let them say it. That's how powerful you are. Turn your channel. Look at what you're watching in the theater of your mind. Turn the channel. If you don't like it, turn it to something you do like. All right. Any questions on that? Questions, comments? Nope. Okay.
So, Coach,
What was that?
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm driving. I was hoping that you didn't hear the GPS. But it kind of, what you're saying with the whole balance and perspective, it kind of made me feel like what was placed in my spirit last week as kind of like my message is like, pay attention to what you're paying attention to. And it just makes so much more sense. And I think the best vivid example you gave so far this morning was the whole thing about 5 people stealing from you versus the 5 people who actually came in and paid full price and appreciated the actual product. And I think that so many people could really benefit from having that type of perspective or that mindset navigating through life, because we can always look at the hardships, we can always look at the obstacles as if they're overwhelming, yet we have so much more power just in our thought process just to overcome what is agitating our spirit or what we don't like that has occurred to us. So I just wanted to let you know how I comprehended or received it in my spirit, that segment of your sermon today on this Saturday.
Right on, right on. Awesome. Here's one word I want us to all understand. Everybody see that? Pain. Paying attention. You're paying. It's costing you. Whatever you're paying attention to is costing you. Only question is, what's the question at that point?
What are you paying?
What are you paying attention to? Is that what you mean?
Or just period, I guess.
Okay.
But I was being more general, but yeah.
Okay.
In this,
What are you paying? Okay.
yeah.
What's another question? When you're paying for something, what questions do you ask yourself?
How much?
How long will it last? What's the quality of it? How will it benefit me? Is there a warranty?
Okay. So let's say everybody agrees with that. Well, if you're paying attention and your attention is your focus, and your focus is based on your thoughts and your feelings, what you're giving yourself to, your life to, how many people are asking those questions about the thoughts they're entertaining? About the feelings they're entertaining? How many of us are asking that many questions before we just say we're depressed, or I'm stressed out, or I'm worried, or I'm anxious, or I'm prosperous, I'm abundant? How many people are asking themselves these questions? Like when you pay for that shirt, do you ask yourself all these questions? How long is it gonna last? How much does it cost? Can I get it on sale? You ask yourself 1,000 questions before you buy something, especially the more expensive it is, let's say. Well, how many people think that way in their thought life? How many people are saying, is this thought really the best one I can do? Is this the best you got? Is there a manager I can talk to? Do they have this in a different size? Is this really the best one? Are there any sales on this? Are there any discounts? Where can I wear this? Can I return it? What's the return policy? Do we ever give that much consideration to the thoughts that we're paying for? Do we do that? Quiet always means no. Guys be so quiet on here, boy.
Started to do that, and I find myself thinking of all these like ridiculous movie scenes and things in my head that aren't even real. So it's like you realize, wow, like you just really go off of stories in your head, and you could have a full-on argument with someone in your head and everything, but it's just literally all random. So that's been my observation.
So we're paying attention is costing us. What are we getting for what we're paying? What are we getting? Is this worth it? Is this thought worth paying? Because we are paying. We're paying. What are we paying with? Okay.
Time.
What was something we said earlier this morning?
We're paying with our time, our seconds.
What's your time? You're paying with your seconds. Every one of them you paying. Every one of them you're paying for every one of these. What you getting back? In my best English, what you getting back? What are you getting back for what you're paying? We all, Giovanni said, I think it was Giovanni, warranties. We have 1,000 questions when it comes to a garment. But we won't, and that's on the outside of our body that we don't even wear every day. And we have a thought that's on the inside of us, rolling with us everywhere we go. And we haven't asked 1/10 of the questions. It's just like our minds are like Uber drivers. We just letting everybody in. Don't even know the person. We just letting them in. They just rolling around with us. We just picking up, not even Uber, we're picking up hitchhikers. We're just picking up thoughts we don't even know, identify, question, anything. But something we put on the outside, a little garment, we put on the outside, boy, and there's coupon queens. You guys seen them shows? coupon queens, and there's all these people who master garage sale hustlers and all the other stuff, right? Everybody literally thinks like that's the best thing ever. And all that stuff is on the outside of you. And everything on the inside of you, we spend no time on, very little time on, and just let in, unquestioned, no security, just letting it walk right to the VIP, just walking right up, walking right through the White House, just walking, hey, what's up, everybody? I'm going to see Joe. You couldn't get it, but we letting things in our mind, just no security, no anything. We're paying for it. We are paying, literally paying, and we're figuratively paying. And what we're not asking ourselves, what are we getting back for this? So we're paying attention, we're paying for the attention that we are using with the seconds we have with life. That's the only way we can pay attention is when we're alive, when we're conscious, I should say. If you're unconscious, you still have the ability, but you can't do it until you become conscious, whether that's waking up or coming out of some kind of coma. Beside that, your consciousness has to be paid. So what are you getting back for it? It's an investment. It's an investment. Every second that you're paying to remain conscious is an investment. We are investors. You are investors. I am an investor. You're an investor. We are all investors. And this is where our first investment is. The seconds we use that we have to pay to keep our consciousness on.
Is it safe to say that if we're trying to figure out what we're paying attention to and giving our seconds to, we just gotta kind of look at our lives?
You can do two things. One, you can look at your life, or you can pay attention to how you feel. How you're feeling is telling you what you're paying attention to. Not necessarily the specific thing. You have to figure out what it is specifically, but it's telling you how it's feeling about what you're paying attention to. It's like if you tasted some ice cream, you know it tastes good or it doesn't. You don't have to know the name of it. You don't have to know the name vanilla. You just know whether you like it or not. You don't have to, you may not know specifically what you're paying attention to but by how you're feeling, that is what you are paying attention to. That is what has the bulk of your consciousness. So sometimes, you wake up and you just feel like you're in a bad mood, or you just feel like it's whatever having your consciousness. Now, that consciousness is not only your own, it's also other people in your environment. Yes, we're all one consciousness, just individualized. But that's why we can know what people are thinking, or we can think about someone and then they call us. Yeah, it's all one consciousness. So sometimes your consciousness is also, a lot of times, but you have to figure out which one is happening. But your consciousness is not only yours in and of itself, it's also affected by other consciousnesses around it, especially those that you're spending the most time with, and especially those that you go to sleep with, the ones in your house. Because that's when your conscious mind goes into abeyance, when it's sleep, or when you're meditating. You're putting that conscious mind on hold, for lack of better words. The phone is still working, somebody's just on hold. That's a different part of your consciousness now. Your subconscious now is working. That's the one that keeps your organs working when you're consciously asleep, when you're unconscious. So sometimes we can wake up and wonder why we're in this mood or that mood. Those, a lot of times, they're because we're picking up the feelings of the thoughts someone else is having. That's all, because it's still one consciousness, and we're influenced by one another. Because we're not one in body, we're one in mind. Our bodies are just cars, but we're all on the freeway. We're one, all on the freeway. Everybody's in the same place, same time. Different cars, maybe going different places, different names, but we're all in the same place. We're all one. We're all one consciousness. Different bodies, one consciousness. So for our consciousness, for that You have to be putting money. You're paying for this constantly with every second of your day. You're paying your consciousness. So what do you want to get back from it? What do you want it to do for you? What channel do you want it to watch? What do you want to focus it on? And that is going to be your reward. That's going to be your outcome. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions or comments on that?
Makes sense.
Okay. Everyone see that?
Mhm.
Yes.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean to you? What does that mean?
What you said earlier about there is no future, there's only now. So you need to take advantage of how you live every second of every day. It should be full of life.
I'm gonna take the great philosopher 50 Cent, get rich or die trying. At some point, you got to lay this on the line. This is not some kind of mental yoga. In the sense of this is not something where we're just on here trying to make ourselves feel better. We're not on here just, this is for you to lay it on the line and to live, not just be alive, to live. To live. What moves you? What drives you? What thrills you? What makes you happy? What can you do every, once for 2 minutes in a day, like I talked about maybe a couple weeks ago? What can you do for 2 or 3 minutes a day? And how can you expand that experience? Live, not just be alive. I want you to live, not just be alive. We're letting all these seconds go by, waiting for vacation, waiting for Friday, waiting for all these we're waiting constantly. And we're just alive, not living. I want us to live. I want you to go after life. I want you to pick your channel. I want you to get out and live. Do some things that thrill you. Do some things that allow you to express who you are, called growth. Learn a new language. Pick up a new skill. Try a new sport. Try a new hobby. Change your hairdo. But do something that allows you to start focusing on living. Something that makes you feel like, you know what, I'm not just here to suffer. I'm not just here to grind it out. I'm not just here to make it through. I'm not just here to thug it out. I'm not just here to survive. I didn't come to the pool to doggy paddle for an hour. You're not just here to just make it and just make it out. You're so much bigger than that. It's a long way down from being the maker of life to making a living. That's a long fall. From being the maker of life to just making a living. From creating this whole world and you're stuck in one part of it. To create every occupation you could imagine and you think you can only do one. There's so much more out there. There's so much more in you. And we're keeping it trapped up and closed up. It's on a constant personal deferment. It's just deferred. It's deferred like a student loan. You just keep pushing living down the road and down the road and down the road and down the road and down the road. And then when you get older, then you try to suck it up and make it all back. But I want you to live now. You're alive now. There is no yesterday. There is no tomorrow. You can think, you can remember yesterday. You can think about tomorrow, but you can only do that in the now. Now is all you have, is all you're ever going to get, because it's all you need. Every day has more than enough for you to be all you could, exceedingly abundantly above all that you could ask or think. And then you take the next day and you do it again. You take the next day and you do it again. That's called a lifestyle. But you only get one day at a time, no matter what your lifestyle is. No matter what it is, you can only live it one day at a time. So what are we waiting on? What are we waiting for? Tomorrow is not a better day or a better opportunity. Today is the day. If tomorrow were better, you could just skip it. But you can't. Because today is enough. You have today. Use it. Every second that you are paying for your consciousness, then turn it to where you want it to go so that it rewards you for your investment. We watch the stock market. Watch your thought market. Watch your thought market. Watch all the different stocks. Watch all the different thoughts that are going on in your mind and figure out which ones are yielding the biggest dividend, the biggest return, and dump the ones that are penny stocks that haven't got you anything. You've held it for 3 years. Watch your thought life, like brokers and hedge fund managers watch the stock market. Watch your thought market. Watch all the different things that are going on in your mind. That's going to determine your money, your life, your outcome. Live today. Today is the only life you have. It's the only time you have it, and it's the only thing you need. It's enough. It's more than enough. What do you want your dad? I was talking to somebody this week about this. My mom always says, how do you eat an elephant? Bite by bite. A lot of times, we are thinking so big that we stop thinking, that it becomes paralyzing, that we just feel overwhelmed and quit. And we think about our entire life, how we're going to fix everything and change everything, or what we want the entire thing to be. And sometimes it's so big and overwhelming that we just stop thinking, period. But I was saying to someone this week, what do you want your day to be like? This is homework number 1. Write it down. Homework number 1. What do you want your day to be like? How do you want your day to go? I ask people, especially in business, all the time. I ask them, describe your business to me. Describe to me how it's doing. And people have such a hard time with it. They never really think about it that way. But it's literally only going the way you're going. It's yours. It doesn't have a life of its own, a mind of its own. It doesn't have its own ideas and its own thoughts. It's truly a reflection of you. And if you can't describe it, or you don't, or you're not willing to describe it in ways that are appealing to you, how can the outcome of it be appealing to you? Same thing as your day. I want you all to sit down and write out your, I don't want to say ideal. Write out how you want your day to go. Meaning not, I want to have a good day today and I want, no, meaning what is your ideal day like? How do things go for you? How do things go for you? What is your idea? What is your day like? If you can seize your day, if you can write out, this is how my day goes. This is my day. This is what my life is like. My life is one day at a time. So if I can master the day, I can win life. If I win today and I win tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, if I win 6 out of 7 days, I may have one day that's a little bumpy and choppy, but if I can get through it, and if I win 6 out of 7 days, I'm winning. If I get 6 out of 7 questions right, I'm winning. If we can win, start stacking our days. If we can learn to win one day at a time, the outcome is inevitable. Inevitable. I tell kids all the time that I train that are getting recruited for college. And I say, what do you think a coach is looking for? And they always tell me stats and points, and they tell me all kinds of things. And I say, no, they're looking for winners. Because they don't care how many points you score if they lose the game, because they get fired based on wins and losses, not on how many points you score. They're looking for people who impact winning. And so everywhere they go, they're trying to stack a collection of winners, because a collection of winners in an environment creates winning. If you can stack your days, win after win after win after win, you look up and you're winning. You don't have to reach winning by some huge Herculean or cataclysmic event. It's just a series of steps. You're aware and awake every second. I'm going to win this second. I'm going to win this minute. I'm going to win this second. I'm going to win these next 30 seconds. Just little challenges to yourself. I'm going to think about how beautiful and young I look for 30 seconds. I'm going to think about how successful my business is for 29 seconds. I'm going to think about the great relationships I have with everyone in my household for 37 seconds. I am going to, and I'm going to stack each second upon a second, a minute on a minute, an hour on an hour. And you look up and you'll say, man, day went by so fast, I didn't even recognize where it went. But I looked up and, man, I've been sold 12 things a day. I got 3 compliments on how young I looked. My kids or my husband or my partner or whomever said I look beautiful and they say they love me. And you look up and you won. And it wasn't something that you spent your whole day consumed over. You just won bite, by bite, by bite, by bite, by bite. You look up and the elephant, the only thing left is the tail. You've eaten everything up. Commit to your day. Commit to the seconds of your minute, to the minutes of your hour, to the hour of your day. Commit to it. What is the best channel I can watch on TV? What is the thing that I got 30 minutes before these kids come in here, before my husband or my wife, or before I got to go back to work? With the time I have, what's the best channel I can watch? What's the best thing I can watch? What's the best thought I can think? What can I commit to for these next 30 minutes or 30 seconds that when it's over, I'm better than I was when I walked out? That I got up like, yeah, I enjoyed that. Or yeah, I'm like that. Yeah, I done pumped myself up. I've raised myself up. I've healed myself. I've done with this 30 seconds. I did everything that I could with it to use for the next 30 seconds or 2 minutes. But you win second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. Master your day. Seize your day by the second. Choose the channels of your mind that you are focused on, that you're watching. I've had three mothers this week complain to me about their husbands because the NFL is coming on. And they know they're not going to see him for 4 months. They can't be involved on Sundays, Mondays after 6, Thursdays after 5. They cannot be bothered. They just cannot, they're not the same people during those hours. I've had 3 of them, literally this week. All the NFL is going on. One of them has season tickets and to the Niners, and he's literally gone on home games from 6 a.m. until like 7 p.m. Oh, he packs up his whole truck. He got the flags rolling. I mean, you would think he was escorting the president. He got the whole situation going. She said he has almost Niners everything down to the socks. It's a whole ritual, right? It's a whole thing. Yeah, it's a whole thing. I mean, he goes to Costco, she said Thursday evening and buys the meat and seasons it up. She said he has a whole situation, got timers going off all around the house. She said he gets up in the middle of the night to like turn the meat and she said this is like Thursday night going into Friday. And this is not even Sunday, it's like Sunday. The game is not till Sunday, right? So I'm saying all this to say, but they all talk about it because they can see what happens to someone when they're doing something that turns them on. When their attention is focused on something that just, you can't change their mind, you can't change their mood. You might have to get divorced for 3 days and then get it reinstalled on Monday because they're not available. They're not available to you. And I want us all to find a thought that consumes you like that. About your health, about your success, about your money, about your relationships. Find something that consumes you, that you don't care what people say, what people think. You will not be distracted, detoured. Nothing is going to stop you from thinking what you want to think. So that it literally influences everything you do physically. But that 30 seconds. And that 30 seconds you spent in that state of mind is going to influence your physical 30 seconds afterward. You'll come out, your blood pressure will be better, sight will be better, your leg that was hurting will feel different because you're in a different state of mind. Why do you think they can operate on you and you not screaming to death? You're in a different state of mind. They put you out. You're in a different state of mind. They can you get a paper cut and you almost faint. But they can cut your chest open and perform open heart surgery and you don't make a sound. You're not dead, but you're in a different state of mind. Your state of mind is literally the expression and the determining factor of your experience. So if you can choose that state of mind, you can win. You can win. That's what winning is the ability to choose on demand your state of mind. Not have it determined by you, by the world, by your friends, by anything or anyone outside of you. Your state of mind is yours. And if you give it away in ignorance or in stupidity, you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer. It is your state of mind. That is your job to maintain. It's not someone else's. It's yours. And God, if you can do it, if we will do it, we will see our life changed because we will see a different life that already exists. Your life changes when you turn the channel on the TV. Your life changes. All those moms, their life changes if their husbands are not going to the game and the game is on TV now. Their life has changed. They know he's going to be hollering, screaming, and everything else. Have you guys ever watched YouTube? If you haven't, it's funny and crazy. Go on there and watch some people who lost the playoff game the year before. Cowboys and 49ers. Watch what the fans do to their TV. You got people literally shooting their television, running their televisions over with their cars. You got people, grown men, crying. Literally things that on any other day they wouldn't be doing. Right? Come on. Those of us who know, We know. Yelling at the TV like they were in the NFL themselves. And you looking like, did I miss something? Did you? Yeah, because if I was me, I would have hit him like that. And you look like you're the least athletic person in here. You would have done what? Do you see the muscles on that dude? And you would have did what? Right? You got to, I mean, just serious. You got to stop the cap.
Block, but you gotta run a play.
You're right. You got to, right there. Yeah. What I would have done is, man, listen, you sitting right next to me. Man, just drink your Slurpee and be quiet, man. Just stop it. I want him to win too, but you're going too far now. Now you're making me upset. The game got me upset, but you now upsetting me on top of that.
Hey, everybody, Lucky's talking about me.
Oh yeah, you're the biggest hater of all time. Of all my mom will watch a show and won't let you turn it on commercial. She won't let you turn it if it's a commercial. She doesn't want you to walk by the TV. She doesn't want you to walk in front of the TV and it's a commercial. She acts like walking by the TV is going to turn it off or something. Like it's going to turn the channel magically. Like everyone, if you are in the room when she's watching, especially when it was Oprah, Harpo. Oh, when Oprah was on, listen, if you were in the chair when it started, you couldn't move until the show was over. You couldn't go to the bathroom. There was no commentary allowed. Don't turn the channel. Don't touch the channel. Don't walk by the TV. Don't do anything. No, she was like the television police. She was like, yeah, it was a whole nother situation. But saying all that to say that when I want us all to live, I want us to find something that focuses you that way. Even if it's for 30 seconds at a time. Find something that thrills you and turns you on and says, this is what I want to be or do or have. This is who I am. And that 30 seconds start turning into 32, 35, 40, a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Then after a while, that is literally, you'll be making a living doing that. Or your health will be that. Or your money will be that. Or your employment will be that. It will literally reflect what you started off with 30 seconds. Describe your day. How does your day go? Man, my day, it goes like this. My day goes like this. All the world means me well and treats me kindly. Everything I set my hand to prospers. My leaf is always green and my tree never ceases to bear fruit. Just whatever else it is, I always make good friends effortlessly and easily wherever I go. Just whatever else it is, I always get where I'm going effortlessly, easy and early. How does your day go? Everybody's waking up and seeing how it's going to go instead of waking up saying how it's going to go. If you want to let the day decide for you, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. I'm going to stay all the way out the way. Stay out the way. Wake up and say how your day is going. Seize your day. This is the day that you made to rejoice and be glad in. Do that. Do that. Rejoice and be glad in your day. And you'll see physical things that do it. Take that state of mind. You turn and watch a movie. The movie is just interesting enough for you to give it a chance. I'm saying this is the day that you have made to rejoice and be glad in. It's like a movie. Rejoicing and Glad is the title. If rejoicing and glad is thrilling enough, the thought of it thrills you enough to give it a chance to watch it. Sit down and see how that movie goes for you. Keep that thought in your mind that you are rejoicing and glad today and see how that movie goes for you. And don't turn it off until your day is over. Don't turn it off until it's over. If this is the day, then the day is, don't turn it off till the day is over. Rejoice and be glad all day in your mind. Watch that. And see how that movie goes for you. It will physically bring things that give you the opportunity to do the things you're thinking. That's how this works. You turn the channel to what you want to watch. You turn your mind to the thought that you want to experience. Just that simple. Not always that easy, but that's the discipline. That's the skill. That's the maturity. You have to learn how to work the remote. It's hard for a 3-year-old, but they still want to do it. But eventually they grow, and now they're us. They're adults. Same thing. It can be hard while we're maturing in our mind, but that's the skill. That's the discipline. choose your channel. And if it's not what you want to watch, get out of the whole gratitude thing, change the channel. There's nobody on here. My mom is not on here like, oh, I'm sure grateful the 49ers are on. I know she ain't saying. Boy, if these Dallas Cowboys didn't show up, I didn't know what Sunday would be like. I know she ain't saying that. Same thing, we're not here to sit here and be grateful about something we don't want to see. Turn the channel. Be grateful that you have a remote. Be grateful for that. Be grateful that you have a remote. Your remote is your consciousness. What are you focusing it on? Every second you're paying, get what you're paying for. Get your warranty. Make sure you can return it if you don't like it. Make sure it's good quality before you call yourself going out on Saturday night with something that ain't all the way right. You know what I'm saying.
Oh.
Right? That's all it is. All right. All right. Anybody have anything they want to say? Any questions or anything like that before I let you guys get on your way for Saturday?
Coach Lucky, the effortless, easy, and early statement you made earlier.
Yes.
What was that comment? I mean, what was that statement?
I get everywhere I get everywhere I want to go, effortlessly, easy, and early. I made that up for myself when I was in traffic and wanting to get somewhere. And you tempted to say, oh my God, or look at the clock every 5 seconds. I had to change the channel. I had to change the thought in my mind and say, what do I want to see? I want to get everywhere I'm going effortlessly, easy, and early. And I started saying that to myself. And like I say, when you say things over and over, they go from here all the way down, then they come back up. Just like food. You eat it, it goes down, and if it ain't right, or whatever, it will come back up. Same thing.
Thank you.
And let me say this one thing to you all. You don't have to be perfect to be amazing. You don't have to be perfect to make a difference. I want to say this before we get off, and I'll give you an example. You don't have to be perfect to be amazing. You don't have to be someone else, somewhere else to be amazing. You are amazing. You just aren't applying it. You are amazing as you are. And if you would be willing to consider that, you would see it. You don't have to be amazing tomorrow, next week, next month, when you get a degree, when you get a little taller, when you lose a little weight, when you do this or do that. No, you can be amazing now. And you don't have to be perfect. You can be amazing as you are. You already are. Remember, who's ever heard of the book Think and Grow Rich? Who's ever heard of that? Okay, watch this. Do you know how many times he was married?
Yeah.
Anybody take a guess?
4.
Huh? 5. This is Think and Grow Rich.
Oh, did I get it right?
Yes, he was married 5 times. Who wrote, what was his name?
Napoleon?
Yeah, what was his name? I heard what you said. What was his name? I'm making a point here. That was his middle name. That was not his first name.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I know you don't. You know why you don't? Because he didn't want anybody to. You know why? Because he was a con man. And his first name was Oliver. And you started using Napoleon because of how many times he was getting sued and how many people around the country were looking for him. So he started going by Napoleon. And he was married 5 times. Do you guys know he died broke? Anybody know that? Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, raise your hand if you knew he died broke. There we go. There should be no hands. There we go. He died broke. Anybody know why? Because his 4th wife, who he wrote Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon had no education. Very little to no education. He talked about Think and Grow Rich. His wife, his 4th wife, was the one who basically, she was the editor. Let's say it that way. She was a proofreader and editor. She was the editor. So he said it and he basically dictated it and she revised it. He wrote some other books, Laws of Success and things like that. If you read those books, they're garbled and that's his writing. Think and Grow Rich is what he was talking about that she rewrote for him. That was his 4th wife. The reason he died rich is because he signed a prenup with her. I'm sorry, broke. is because he signed a prenup with her. He signed a prenup with her because so many people were coming after him. He didn't want, if this book were to be a success, he didn't want people to come after him. He didn't want people to be able to get the proceeds, including his third wife, who he had 3 kids by. I think he had at least 4. But he was married 5 times. He died broke because his 4th wife got all the royalties. He signed all his royalties over to her because he didn't want all the bankruptcies and the debts and the people that he owed money to for that. He was known as a crook and a con man. There was never any evidence that he ever met Andrew Carnegie. Never. His biographer said it. Andrew Carnegie's biographer said it. I say all that to say, but he still wrote one of the greatest books of all time. Essentially. So my point is that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be a con man or a criminal either, but you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to, you are great. You are, the perfection lies in you. If you be willing to turn inside and look at yourself and assume you are greater than what you have thought, you will be greater than what you will perform at that level, because you're performing at the level you think of yourself now. Start talking to yourself like you're something. Start thinking of yourself like you're something. Then you start acting like you're something, and then you'll start seeing something. But you will never see before you say. You will never see that of yourself before you're willing to say that about yourself. And most people will have to see it before they say it. That's why you don't see nothing. Because you're not willing to say it about yourself. You're not willing to think of yourself as great. Think of yourself as high. Think of yourself as amazing. Think of yourself. I know we're over time and I'm only doing it. Give me 1 more minute. But I'm saying this on purpose. That man wrote one of the greatest books of all time. Every self-help, mentor, guru, doesn't everybody talk about that book? Yeah. Literally everybody. Literally everybody who's made it successful, so to speak, talks about that book. That was Bob Proctor's Bible, damn near. Right? So what I'm saying to you is that everybody who's made it thinks that book is great. So you don't have to be perfect to be great. You are perfect enough as you are. There's perfection within you. Tap it. It's in you. Tap it. It's not on the outside of you. You can't look outside and say, I'm great. You have to look inside and say, I'm great. Then it will come out. The well is on the inside. It's not on the outside. All right, you guys. I just wanted to tell you that. I was going to go into a little deeper, but that was enough for that one. Yeah, he was not what people think he was, but the book was. He wasn't, but the book was. But there was a part of him that was, and that's what allowed him to express that. So I want you to know that you don't have to be perfect to be great. You're great enough. Stop trying to shine yourself up before you shine. You can't shine yourself. You can't shine yourself on the outside. The shine comes from the inside. You don't got the jewelry on you. You got it in you. Kendrick Lamar, come on. There you go. All right.
I received it, Coach.
Yes. Appreciate you all. Have a great Saturday. I know I've talked your head off.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you too.
Oh man, thank you all. I'm just trying to rush you off because I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate all of you for coming. Thank you. And just do it. This is here to be proved. Live, 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 live. You're great. There's greatness in you, and you'll never know until you apply it. The well is in you. So thank you all for coming. I want you to live, know that you're wonderful and amazing, and that you can do it. So do it.
Carpe Diem, everybody.
Thank you.
See it.
Have a great day, everyone.
Have a great day. Carpe Diem.
See you.
See it. Seize the day.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.